All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out Green Yellow Yamato. And guys, this is one heck of a leader to begin with. It has double attack printed on it. This leader, when it first came out, people were freaking out about, and people kind of hopped to, like, you know, what you would consider probably, you know, normal conclusions, like, oh, double attack, must go fast, must beat them down early and win the game fast, right? And but I think you're going to see today, guys, this deck has really evolved. It has really matured when it got access to better, you know, more and more consistent, better cards, where it no longer has to be just this, oh, just everything at face deck. But with it being the colors it is and having that double attack built in, it can still go face every single turn if it needs to, right, for a double attack. So it has a lot of versatility, and it has a lot of utility now that we're going to see that came in EB-01 and OP-07. Okay, before I get too much into this, guys, let me start off by saying what we're going to be doing, give you guys a quick layout. First, we're going to be checking out some decks from the East, some decks in the EB-01 and OP-07 format. That's the first thing we're going to check out. Then we're going to look at 5 games on the sim, and then we're going to go from there over to the deck list that I'm running, and we'll talk about it a little bit, do some final thoughts, do some wrap-up from there. So you know what you're getting into. There will be some spoilers. You know, fair warning, there will be some spoilers. But real quick, before we actually even get into that, I have to say, I found a YouTuber, someone I used to watch back in the day. His name is Tamahara Saito, and he is an old Magic the Gathering player, but apparently I don't know if he has his own card shop now or what. I have no idea, but he is very much still active in the trading card game community, because look at this, guys, 144,000 subscribers. And I found a video we got to talk about real quick, because check this out, guys. So notice I have this highlighted, translate to English. 500 people results, most favorite card game, and this is in Japan. This was in Japan, right, guys? Check this out. Okay, and it goes, this is number 1 all the way at the top left here, and then all the way at the bottom right is number 10. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Okay, and look where One Piece is, guys. This is interesting. I will leave a link down in the comment section below if you want to watch this video and watch, like, because you can turn on the translation, guys, if you hit closed caption down here, and then have the subtitles on, like, you know, Japanese auto-generated to English, and you can hear what they're saying if you want to see what they said. Very interesting stuff here, guys. They got One Piece at number 3 right now, Magic at number 2, Duel Masters number 1, okay, Yu-Gi-Oh! Down here at number 5, Pokemon at 4, and then a bunch of card games I have no idea what they are, except Weiss Shorts or Vice Shorts. And then you have Digimon, and then some Gundam game. I don't even know what these two right here are called, but very interesting. If you're bored and you want to just have something, you know, this is a 35-minute video almost. So if you're just trying to watch something to pass the time by, this might be a really good one to check out. Okay, but that is nice, guys. One Piece, number 3, guys, in a 500-person survey of just random people, you know, over in Japan. So good stuff, guys. We do like to see that. All right, now back to what we were talking about. Back to what we were saying, guys. So we are going to be going over Yamato. We're going to be doing a deep dive into Green Yellow Land of Wano Yamato from OP-06, and we're going to be checking this out and just fully dissecting it and see where we need to go in the future. So if I miss something, I need you guys to help me out in the comment section below. If there's something something I miss, or if there's something, you know, that you think would be better, suggestions, comments, put them down there, guys. Let's all take this deck to the next level together. So let me break down the leader, and then we'll go through the first deck we're going to look at here. This is a 5,000 power 4-life leader, green-yellow colored pool. Double attack, activate main once per turn. If your opponent has 3 or less life, attach up to 2 Rested Dawn cards to one of your characters. So notice you can't do it to your leader, but you can give it to your characters. A very solid effect here. It's a very subtle effect that's actually very, very strong. Okay, so the first list we're going to look at here is the most recent one. Let me sort by OP-06 Yamato for you guys real quick. Here we go. So this is the most recent one we just had up right here. This was a deck that got top 4 at an 80-player tournament just about 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago at the time we were recording this video. Top 4 in an 80-player tournament. That's nothing to scoff at. We'll look at the rest of these as well. We'll kind of just glance over them. But let's take a look. Like, check out the direction that Yamato is going. Notice this, guys. Big card we're going to talk about in a minute is this Momo card, this Otama card, and this Hiyori card. Big stuff going on there. I'm going to run through the list first, and then we'll talk about it. We'll break it down. 4 Izos, 4 Momonosuke, 4 Captain Kidd, 4 Rosinante, 4 Hody Jones, 4 Hiyori, 4 Yamasan, 4 Otama, 4 Onami, 4 Hiyori, 4 Momonosuke, the 5-cost blocker, 4, you can be my samurai. Guys, this card right here, we're going to talk about in a second. And then 4, you're the one who should disappear. Okay, this card is a lot better than you might think in a deck like this where there's quite a few bricks and ways to set your life. Very good stuff here. Very, very, very good stuff here. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into this real quick. First of all, I just want to say, like, how this leader... I don't know if I can't remember if I mentioned it in the intro or not now, but guys, this leader went from like a very hyper-aggressive deck when it first came out into something way more controlling with like this, what they called Fortress Yamato, and now it has settled somewhere in between, almost into like a mid-range deck with extremely solid Land of Wano support that, you know, that you can see here and that we'll talk about and we'll see in the video. But right now, we're doing a lot of Land of Wano stuff. The first card I want to talk about is Otama. With access to this card now, this card right here is kind of what put the green Land of Wano package back on the map, right? Or if it was ever on the map, right? It at least put it on the map. You know, I don't think it was ever on the map, right? But this definitely, this card definitely put it on there because... Like, okay, let me read the card real quick and then we'll talk about it. It's a 1 cost, 0 power, 2k counter, okay? On play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and reveal up to 1 green Land of Wano type card. Remember that, guys, green Land of Wano type card. It's not like Momonosuke that can search green or yellow Land of Wano cards or any color Land of Wano cards for that matter. This one can only search up green ones other than Otama and then put into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Okay, this card... is actually, and it's a 2k counter, guys. Don't let this little small detail here slip past you. So it's a 2k counter later in the game. Early in the game, it's a searcher, a top 5 green Land of Wano searcher. And then throughout the game, if this card sticks for whatever reason, it is now a card we can use with this old card from OP-01. This is a 1 cost event that says main, you may rest 2 of your characters and draw 2 cards. Okay, and this is a Land of Wano. Don't mind the mistranslation. This is a Land of Wano card, not Wano Country or whatever it says there. It is a Land of Wano searchable card. Okay, now let's look at some other cards you can search up. Izo, just a great 2k counter. We've been now if any deck has been running green in the past, you know, since the game probably came out, they run this card as a 2k counter, right? I mean, I don't even care if you're running film, right? If you're running film, you run this 2k counter because it's just a great effect. You're paying 3 to tap down a 4 or less to swing for like lethal or whatever you have to do, and then it's a 2k counter. And in this deck, it's Land of Wano searchable. This card's just an incredible 2k counter. Okay, then you also can search up a card like Kazuki Momonosuke. This card is a top 5 searcher for Land of Wano without any color restriction. So this is almost like the Jewelry Bonnie of this deck, right? Where it's like, okay, I can search up green or yellow Land of Wano cards with this guy. Very good stuff there. Now, Eustace Kid is not searchable. It is a Supernova Kid Pirates type, but this card is so strong, we kind of just have to run it, right? Or at least this deck determined they have to run it. I actually prefer Doflamingo. We'll talk about that in a second because some decks are running both. Some are just running one or the other. I actually like the Doflamingo a little bit better. We'll talk about it in a second, though, guys. Then it's running Rosinante. This is just one of those cards. It's almost like the Izo card we were just looking at. It's almost like this card where it's like if you're running a green deck, there is very little reason to not run this card. Like, no, it's not searchable by Land of Wano like we're running, but it's a 2 cost 1k counter. This is going to help you in the mirror match, right? If you know, you can play out a cheap blocker early on, you don't care about losing, and it can protect your Eustace Kid later in the game. However, I will say this, if you're not running the Eustace Captain Kid package, like this is part of it, so maybe you don't run it. Like you'll see in the games I'm running today, I'm not running the Eustace Kid package with Rosinante, but this card is extremely good. For Hody Jones, guys, this card is just... sorry, I got a little bit sidetracked. We were going through all the Land of Wano cards. So for Izo, for Momonosuke, for Hiyori. I'll come back to Hody Jones, don't worry. Hiyori, this is an EB-01 card that I got, and, you know, it is incredible. It's Land of Wano searchable, obviously. 4 cost, 0 power, 1k counter. Like, okay, why would I want to run a card this trash, right? It must have a very solid effect. It does. Activate main. You may place this card into your trash and place up to 1 cost 5 or lower Land of Wano type character other than Kazuki Hiyori from your hand into play and then draw 1 card. You do have to play the card first before you draw. So in other words, you can't draw into the card and then play that card. No, you have to play the card out first, then you can draw a card. So, and it is play up to 1. It is play up to 1 cost 5 or lower. So, you know, if you absolutely have to, maybe there's a world where you have to just play this out to draw a card. You know, not a great situation, but you can do that. That is an option. Okay, and the only thing you cannot play is another Kazuki Hiyori from this effect, obviously. that'd be kind of crazy, right? Then you could just chain a bunch of them together or something. Who knows? Okay. But what they're doing, and by the way, this is also Land of Wano searchable, okay? This is Wano searchable, the Yamasan card here. This is Wano searchable for the green, for this Momonosuke. Because remember, he can even search up himself, okay? Now, he cannot put himself on top of the on top of the life with this effect, as weird, as funny as that is, because it is checking for a character's name, and they share the same name, so you cannot put the card on top of, you know, your life, this card. You cannot put this card on top of your life with this card. However, very confusing, you can search up with this guy. Very confusing, I know. Hiyori, this is Land of Wano, and so is You Can Be My Samurai. So this card Momonosuke has 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, about 26 targets in the deck. So this card is a absolute all-star in the deck, and you can search up so much. Okay, really good stuff there. Now let's backtrack a little bit and talk about Hody Jones. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. This is just an incredible finisher in this deck because it's a 7-cost, 8,000 power rush card. That's already fine. But listen to this on play. Rest up to a total of 2 of your opponent's characters or Dawn. Then put the top of your life cards into your hand. So understand, when you drop this card down, you can rest. If they had Dawn active, they were trying to use like a Radical Beam or something. Okay, rest that Dawn. Or against Joribani, right? If you're playing against Joribani where they're going to rest one of your guys, nope, Hody Jones, rest that Dawn. And if they have a field full of blockers, play this guy, rest 2 of your blockers. So you see, like, this card is extremely powerful. Extremely powerful card. Great finisher. And let's not forget what the leader effect does. If your opponent's at 1 or 0 life where you're trying to close out the game, activate main once per turn. If your opponent has 3 or less life, attach up to 2 Rested Dawn to one of your characters. Now, again, you cannot attach it to your leader, but you can attach it to this guy. So if your opponent is at 0 life and you just used up all your attacks or whatever, plop down Hody Jones, attach 2 Dawn to him for free with your leader effect, swinging in for 10. 7 cost 10k rusher in this deck, right? It's like, a lot of people see how strong Kid and Killer is, a 4 cost 7k rusher. In Yamato, this is a 7 cost 10k rusher. This is their version of that card for the most part. Okay. Other than that, so Yamasan, let's talk about this card for a minute. Why are people running this? The main reason is this card right here. This card cheats out a 5 cost or lower Land of Wano type character. The color doesn't matter. Okay, and then it draws a card, right? Well, Yamasan's a good target, but they're only running 2 for a reason. Because this is your primary target. This is a 5 cost Land of Wano character that will allow you to put cards back into your life like Otama or Hiyori. Okay? I guess potentially it could put this other Hiyori in your life, but you're probably going to be summoning this card with this effect, right? You're going to be playing it out for free. Or potentially an Izo, right? If you rest down one of the guys that you can attack into it or attack over it, things don't go your way, and now you need to, go into defense mode. Okay, play out the Momonosuke with Hiyori's effect, and then put this card back on top of your life. You gain a life, and then once they attack, you've got your 2k counter back or your rest effect if you need that next turn. So this card, you see what's happening. It's become this combo-esque mid-range deck that does require skill. I get it. A lot of people are probably thinking like, oh man, this deck was, just BS in the beginning because it could just go all face, just, Hulk smash and win. Well, this version, I mean, you can kind of do that to some extent, but there's a little more finesse when you pilot it running this engine. And we'll look at it in the games today on the video. What else? Hiyori is just an incredible card. I think this card's still going for like, I don't know if it was like 10 or 20 bucks. This card was going for quite a bit. I'll look it up while we're talking about it. Because, guys, this card is just that good. I don't like when cards cost this much, but this card's very strong. Yeah, at the time, guys, of me recording this card is going for $20 still. Okay, I'm just gonna flash it over here real quick. $20, guys, 20 bucks. This is still a pretty expensive card. Sorry, guys, that's not my choice. That just is what it is. Okay, very, very strong card, and it's honestly, if you're looking at this list, it's probably the most expensive card in this list outside of Eustace Kid, but don't worry about Eustace Kid, because like I said, there's a version I'm running today that does not run Eustace Kid, and everything else on here is very, very affordable. Now, some cards are obviously not out yet. Otama's not out. For us in the West, this doesn't come out for another month. But everything else in here is pretty affordable. Izos are getting a little bit costly, but, something for you to keep your eye on. Same thing with the Momonosuke's. But I think Hody Jones is like $4 a card. This other Momonosuke's I think like $4 or $5 a card, and you guys help me out in the comment section below if I'm off on anything. Okay, so we looked at that. Onami is just a great card with Yamato because it allows you to banish attack with your leader, double attack. That's just huge. Now you cannot put it back into your life with Momonosuke because it is not a land of 1 card. Okay, but here's the thing that's so beautiful about the way this deck is put together. This You Can Be My Samurai card actually allows you to get further value from your cards like Otama, Onami, Hiyori, this Hiyori, it's 2 different Hiyori, sorry guys, or even your Momonosuke potentially. Like if you're not trying to just do a top 5 search and you're actually trying to search for something like a Hody Jones or a Eustace Kid that you can't search with Momonosuke, no problem. You can tap down your Momonosuke and another card and just draw to it with something like this, or try to draw to it with something like this. Okay. Last but not least down here is the other event, You're the One Who Should Disappear. This card is actually very good in this deck. Better than you might think. Because later in the game where you don't have time to do something like You Can Be My Samurai, well, you can toss it with this card to go plus 3,000 for the next attack and get out of a 7k attack. You can also use it with, there's a lot of dead cards in this deck. You're running 4 Eustace Kid, 4 Hody Jones, 4 Momonosuke, and of course the 4 You Can Be My Samurai. That's potentially, what is that, like 4, 8, 12, 16, potentially 16 cards that are just totally dead in hand if you're not in the right time in the game. So this card helps you get around that. One more thing I want to mention, an incredible combo you need to understand that is very possible in this deck. Say you're down to 1 life, right? Like your opponent has knocked you down to 1 life. Okay, play out Hiyori, take your top life card, put this in the place of it, play out Momonosuke to push Hiyori to the top of your life, and now you have a blocker, a 2 life, one of them is going to be a 2k counter, and the other one is actually going to give you another life. You see what I'm saying? So this card doubles over, it does double duty, and so do a lot of cards in this deck, guys. There's a lot of little combos you have to check out. Like, for example, the Hiyori one here, like, there are plays you're going to see in the game where it's like, okay, you can play out Notama, play out Hiyori, draw 2 cards by tapping both of them. You already drew a card from this one, right? So draw 1 card from this effect, draw 2 cards from this effect, and then you're going to crack this to play out your Momonosuke, putting your Otama back onto your life, and now you're drawing another card from the Hiyori's effect, and you gain a life and a blocker, which will give you 2k counter later or draw another card. You see how it becomes this like interlocking system where like everything, I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but the entire system is like enclosed and it works all together very, very well. A lot of synergy here. Okay, this is the new direction of Yamato. Now, let's go back and check out a few other ones. Sorry, guys. Let me bring up some of the other decks here. These most recent ones are very similar, but notice they can't really decide. Notice this deck is very, very similar. But instead of running the Eustace Kids, they opted to just go with 4 Doflamingo, which I 1,000,000% agree with, by the way. I think this is the way to go. But they've even included in 2 Zoros. I don't know how much I like the Zoro. Maybe it's a 2 of, I guess it's not bad. Running 10 boss characters when you have, what is this, 4 0 cost 3k counters to pitch to get value out of them is not the worst thing in the world. Because I think everyone knows by now, if this card sticks, the game's over, right? For the most part. It's probably, I don't know any of the math on it, obviously. You know, every game has its own, every game has its own, specific details and uniqueness to it. But like when this card hits, there must be like a 90+% win rate for the player who establishes that card and untaps for the next turn, right? But this card's absolutely incredible. Everything else, now this deck is running 4 Shirahoshis. I think that's a little too many, but who knows? I mean, if you get just one of these off, the card advantage just becomes incredible. You are running Hiyori, so you can set your Shirahoshis on top if you need them, and it's just really nice, right? Like this deck is very well put together. Now, this deck is not running... Let me see what it's missing from the other one. Y'all give me just a second, guys. It's not running the Rosinantes. It's not running the Yamasans. And that's it. And the Eustace Kids. So they traded out 4 Eustace Kids for 4 Doflamingos. They traded out 2 Yamasans for 2 Zoros. And they traded out 4 Rosinantes for 4... what's his name? Shirahoshis. Then they traded out 1 You're the One Who Should Disappear for the green 0-cost event. Which that's just preference. But hey, first place, 5-0 at a flagship, we'll take that, right? That is very solid. And what you're seeing here, guys, this is the new direction of Yamato. Okay, we'll look at one more list. This is actually not this one, though. We'll look at this 130 player. Well, they went 6-2. That's still fine. That's fine. We'll check this one out and see how much it's evolved since then. And honestly, not much. You see what I'm saying, guys? Like, this is the new direction. This is OP-07 Yamato that we're looking at here. Okay, now let's go ahead and dive into some games on the sim. I do want to show, this is the list I was using. I'll link this video down in the comment section below as well if you want to watch this game between OP-07 Bonnie and OP-07 Yamato. Now, these decks are splashing OP-08 cards. We don't have access to this carrot yet, and we don't have access to this 3-cost event yet. So I copy-pasted this deck, and I traded out the Bonnies, or excuse me, the carrots for, what's it called, for Kikinojo, and then I traded out these events down here. I think for a few games I had in this 1-cost event that I didn't even use one time, but for the last 2 or 3 games, I traded them out for 2 Shirahoshis. Okay, so just give you guys an idea of where I got my deck list from. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into some games here. All right, let me go full screen, move my face over. And yeah, I think we're good to go. I gotta turn the fan on, guys. It's warm in my room. Okay, so volume is off, speed is on 2x, and we are good to go. Okay, so first up here, we're going against a red-purple Luffy. 6,000 base power leaders are always very annoying to go against. And guys, for those who are not aware, red-purple Luffy going into OP-07 is actually a very, very strong deck. He's going to swing 9 at me on the opening play here. I'm just going to have to take that. I'm going to have to just take that. I don't want to throw away my too many cards here. Okay, so I'm going to play out Momonosuke. I'm going to use it. I want to give him a target. I'm tempting him like, hey, don't you want to attack into this Momonosuke? And his answer is probably no, right? But if he does, that's great. That sets me back a whole nother, or that gives me like an entire turn to ramp forward. Plays out Bond Clay. I'm not a huge fan of that, and he swings 8 at face. I take this. Looking back, I think maybe I should have 2K'd out with the 2 Otamas. But right here, I'm going to do Hiyori. I'm going to throw, I put the Nami in my life there, so now I'm going to be able to pop whatever. But I'm going to, okay, everything just happened so quick there, guys. Hang on one second. Okay, this is a 6 Dawn turn for me. With 6 Dawn, I'm going to play out my Hiyori for 2. Okay, that's going to allow me to take 1 card from my life and set my top life card. The card I set is going to be Nami. That's going to pop his Bond Clay next turn for free, or whatever else he might play next turn, right? If he plays things out of order. But then, I have only 4 Dawn left, right? Well, that stinks. What am I going to do with that? I'm going to play out Hiyori, the 4-cost Hiyori, to play out my 5-cost Momonosuke, which will draw me, a card, and it's going to let me put my Hiyori, my 2-cost yellow Hiyori that I played earlier, on top of my life. Okay, so this is a very big turn here, guys. Pay attention to this real quick. So here it is, play out the Hiyori. I take my top life card, excuse me, I took my bottom life card, which was a Nami, and I put it on the top because I wanted that there anyway. And then I play out the 5-cost Momonosuke, gain a life. I can't attack him this turn because, remember, you cannot attach 2 Dawn to your leader, only to one of your characters. Okay, I've got 3 life. So he wasted his last turn with that play right there. I just gained a life. I put down a 6K blocker, and I set one of my life cards as well with the Hiyori. Hiyori Momonosuke is a very, very strong package, guys, in any deck that can run yellow, because it's allowing you to set your trigger, and it's giving you an extra life. So very, very good stuff there. So he's going to swing for 9. I'm actually going to block out of that with my Momonosuke. And right here, I'm feeling pretty good because he's probably, well, it depends. I don't know if he's going to swing or not with that Bond Clay. I do not think it's the right call to swing, but he does go ahead and do it. Let's see what he swings into. Okay, there's, that was very fortunate for him. I have to use I did have to use a 3K counter, but I thought he was going to go at life, and then it definitely wouldn't have been the right call, but going at my character does seem like a better idea there. But now I can just attack, well, I was going to say I can attack into his guy, because I'm not running any removal. That's one thing I will say, guys, is this deck is not running any removal, unfortunately. But at the same time, that's not the worst thing in the world. So right here, I'm going to swing 8 at him. He counters out. I attach 2 to my Momonosuke. I'm swinging 8 more at him, because right here he's on 10 Dawn. So what he's probably going to do here, just like trying to anticipate my opponent's play, he's probably going to swing all out and drop Luffy, right? That's the play here. Okay, I don't know what he must have. I don't know what he did there, guys, but he did that wrong. He was supposed to swing 8, into my Hody Jones, which I was just going to counter out of, to be fair. Okay, I would have just used Nami or something like that, and he ends up like just regretting that and passing the game. Because now the game is over when he, because we missed the play that did it. I'm sorry, guys, I totally missed that. So when he swings right here, whoops. Sorry, guys, it went too fast. So he swings for 9. I take it. Remember, I know it's on top of my life. I put it there. It's Onami, right? And that pops his one last blocker, and now he can't survive. Because what I'm going to end up doing here, when I untap at 10 Dawn, or 9, or whatever I was going to be on that turn, everything is going at my opponent's face on that Hody Jones. Hody Jones is 8k base, so he would have gone up 9, so he just swung for 17, and look at my opponent's hand. The game's over. That wasn't a rage quit. That was just a concession. Okay? All right, let's look at the next game. All right, you'll give me 1 second to get it. Ah, where'd it go? Okay, here it is. All right, now this one is going to be against Ace. I don't know if Ace is going to be doing anything too special in OP-07, but who knows? You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I don't ever count a leader out. You guys know me. I give hope where there is none to a leader, right? It's like, okay, now the leader I'm playing today is a solid leader, but I'm saying, like, generally speaking, I like to play decks that you know, have no representation. Right, that's why I was playing Garp yesterday. Right, that's a leader that hasn't seen a top placing in like 4 sets, 3 or 4 sets. Okay, so he takes out my Momo with his Ezo. That's pretty nice. It looks like he's going to swing 8 at me. I think he's determining whether or not he wants to bump it to 9. And guess what I got off the top there? Absolutely infuriating. I get a Kikanojo, but my opponent is not at 3 or less life, so I don't get the trigger. That is the worst feeling, guys, but it happens. It happens all the time, to be completely honest. That is why, typically speaking, like, let me say this right now, you should try to counter out of most early attacks if your opponent is not at 3 or less life when you're playing Green Yellow Yamato, if you're running Kikanojo. If you're not running Kikanojo, then who cares? But otherwise, you know, it is very frustrating. So I'm swinging 9 at face here with Banish. So he has to counter out of this realistically, yeah. So he's going to get plus 1,000 from an event, plus 2,000 from that. And he must have did it really fast. I don't remember. I didn't see what all he did, but he got out of a 9k there. He had to give me 3 cards for it. Okay. I now have a Nami on the board, which I'll be able to use later with You Can Be My Samurai, potentially, if I need to. But my opponent does have a pretty good board right here. So swinging for 6. He gets away with it because I have 0 counter power in my hand, guys. 0. Other than a 0 cost event. So I go ahead and trash one of the You Can Be My Samurai just so I can clear up space for it. I'm at 8 Dawn. I'm at 8 Dawn this turn. So the idea here is, okay, I need to win the game probably in like 1 more turn. So I play out, I play out Kikanojo, tap that and my Nami to draw 2 with You Can Be My Samurai, and I swing 8 at face, it goes through, he gets a trigger, pops my Nami. Unfortunate, it happens, but now I have to survive this turn, and I'm good, right? Theoretically, if I survive this turn, I should be able to win the game. Okay, let's see what my opponent does. He's going to swing 6 at face. Well, I've got some 2k counters now after doing You Can Be My Samurai. Okay, 7's an awkward attack. I'm just gonna take that. And that's why you should always try to swing 7, guys. Swinging 7 is pretty much always the right call, especially in this situation. Okay, because if he had swung 7, I think I lose this game. Okay, he's going to swing 6. Okay, well, 2k counter out. And now he's going to tap down, what is this, 7? Oh, he played out ace, and he's going to swing, and I have to take that one. Okay, well, time for pedal to the metal because I have absolutely no other way to win this game, right? There's no other shot for me to win this game. Another thing he could have tried to do here was like maybe KO my my Kikanojo. Okay, so I swing 7 at face. This is going to be minimum 2 cards out of hand or his last life. He gives me 1. Okay. 2. Okay, oh, real quick, guys, I'm sorry. I forgot to show y'all. Like, look at what I did. When my opponent left 1 Dawn untapped, right? So he obviously has a Radical Beam or a Guard Point, or he's threatening to have one. So let me hit play now. I'll show you guys. When I play out Hody Jones first to tap down that Dawn, that's why I played it in that order. Attach 1 Dawn to my Kikanojo to swing 7. He's going to have to give me 2 cards here. That's where we left off. He's going to give me an Otama and a Crossfire, because remember, with Ace's effect, you can trash an event to go plus 1,000 counter. If this card goes through, swinging for 7, then it's game over. Okay, so now I'm going to swing. He did get a trigger for Radical Beam. Oh, man. So his last card was a Radical Beam, and he had a Radical Beam in hand. And that is how strong Hody Jones is. Hody Jones is one of the best closers in the entire game. I would say the second best closer in the game is in this player's hand right here in 5-cost Luffy. But Hody Jones is an absolutely devastating closer. Locks games down. And the only reason I won that game is because of Hody Jones. And I would also argue a few miscalculated attacks from my opponent. I don't think the attacks were... Like, I think you should be swinging 7 minimum, right? That's what I was saying. You should be swinging 7. Okay, next game. Next game we got against a Reiju. Been seeing a lot of Reijus on the ladder lately, guys. A lot of Reijus. I think we've probably got a lot of new players trying to get into the game. And hey, I will be honest, Reiju's a great leader for new players to pick up, so that number one, they can learn the game, and number two, it's cheap and affordable, so that they can even play the game. Okay, and it has a very high skill ceiling to play at the higher levels, right? And it's easy to play up front because you're just playing out cards, but to learn how to use the deck and all of its intricacies and all that stuff, like, you know, it's pretty nice. Okay, so he swings 5 into my Momonosuke. I'm like, sure, take it. I just gained a life of that and a card from drawing with it. Then he plays out this new combo here. This new Porsche into pretty much anything in their deck combo, but in this case, Bon Carré. That is nice, guys. Let me pause this and explain real quick, guys. So Porsche here on the board is a 3-cost 5,000 power card with no counter, and it has on play, do a top 5 search for a Foxy Pirates type card. And then it can play out a purple character card that has 4,000 power or less. So that's any of Reiju's characters, any of Reiju's base level characters, and then even cards like Bon Carré. So really, really good stuff there. Okay, so I just kind of fill out the board here, play out Momonosuke. Honestly, I think I should have done the you can be my, or did I draw you can be my samurai? Hang on one second, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, so I played out Otama. Grab the Momonosuke. Yeah. And then with Momonosuke, I played out and get the You Can Be My Samurai. So sorry, that was the right play there. I'm going to swing 6 of face. I'm going to force them to give me a 2K, or they're going to lose 2 life here. Okay? And that is one thing as well. While we're talking about it, oh, he hits me with a pudding there. That was not pretty, but he gave me a pretty good hand too. I'm not too upset about that. One thing about, well, I don't know. I shouldn't say he gave me a good hand because I was about to draw a bunch of cards, but y'all know what I'm saying. I will take the Kikanojos there. All right, this card right here is what's only in my first 2 games, or I think it's my first 3 games. Gun Modoki or Modokai. 1 cost, you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand, and then up to one of your characters with the land Wano type, gain double attack for this turn, and then trigger plus 1,000 to a leader character for the turn. The card was not good for what I'm trying to do. I was just trying it out because I didn't have the OP-08 cards. It was not good for what I was trying to do. Okay, so he swings 5 into my Momonosuke. You can have that. I don't even have the card to use anymore for that, right? I don't even have the 1 cost. You Can Be My Samurai since they did the pudding. Okay, so right here I do need to start setting some cards. I go ahead and set Kikinojo on top. I do a You Can Be My Samurai to draw 2. Swing 8 at leader. This one's probably going to go through, right? Because he has 4 cards left in hand. It connects. He's down to 2 life already. Right, so my opponent, even though he's at 2 life, he's really only 2 attacks away from losing the game. And that's how you kind of have to see it when playing this deck. Okay, so right here, I think I make a slight mistake here. Let me see, because I don't end up getting the Kikinojo, I think. Something weird happens here where it was really annoying. Okay, my opponent, so first of all, their Bon Carré, Mr. 2, has no target on the board for him to buff off of, which is really nice playing the way I did. I was trying to play around his effect, because if he could, because remember, Bon Carré can target any of my characters on the board and become that power for the turn to attack with. Okay, so let's see what he does here. He just did a Kaya to draw 2, trash 2, swings 4 into that. You can have it. He swings 4 into that, or 5 into that. And then I mess up right here. I 2K counter out for what reason, I don't know. Because now I have to play out my Hody Jones and take my top life card anyway, which was the Kikinojo that I set there. Very, very frustrating. But it is what it is, right? It happens. Okay, so right here I'm going to swing 5 into 1. I should have swung 6 into 1. Look what my opponent does. This was very tilting. He plays out this, let me pause. He plays out Noro Beam Sword, a Foxy Pirates searchable card. And listen to what this thing does, guys. I've talked about this one. This effect is very strong. It's a 2-cost counter, Dawn -1. Give up to one of your characters or leaders plus 2,000 power for this battle, and then rest up to one of your opponent's characters. There's no cost restriction, just any character. Oh, man, that was brutal, guys. Look what he does here. Now, if I had swung with my leader first, it would have been different. And then look at that. He gets out of that attack. I swung for 5. I guess he got out for 7, so it didn't matter. But still, man, that was brutal. Okay, so now I don't even get to use my my guy, what's his name, Hody Jones, and look what my opponent has on the board. So this is a situation that happens in cards probably in most card games. It's like, okay, my opponent has 7 cards in their hand. I don't know what any of them are. So I could try to go for game here and leave myself exposed and take a gamble, take the risk, or I can try to keep controlling the board and go about things that way. Well, my opponent swings 5, swings 7. I get a very nice Onami there. Go ahead and pop the Bon Carré because he does. I believe he does go off base power, the Bon Carré. Okay, so he swings 7 into life. I take it, and now I'm just staring at this guy in the face saying, you won't attack me. You won't. He doesn't. Plays out another 3-cost Dofi, thinking he's safe because blockers, right? But I've got another Hody Jones in hand. If my opponent had just put all 3 of their Dawn on pudding and swung for 7, they win the game. But never drop your poker face, guys, when you're playing live. Okay, when you're on the sim, there's nothing like that. So I tap down his characters here. You guys can do you guys can do the math from here, right? If this goes through, I win the game. Swing 8 into 5. He'd had to have 2K counters to get out of that. And now I'm going to swing 10, and then I'm going to swing 8 if somehow that doesn't go through. Okay, so he did use that to at least get a Dawn active in case he gets something in hand. He doesn't, and that's game. So like I was saying, though, guys, real quick before we go to the next game, whenever you're playing in a game and you're looking at your cards, you know, a lot of people are honest in their own head. They're like, oh, I just lose. Well, your opponent doesn't know that, okay? If they did know that, they wouldn't hesitate and they would just run you over. You see what I'm saying? But like in this case right here, I've got 7 cards in my hand. What are the odds that I can't counter out of a 7K attack? Right? Remember, I drew that Hiyori for this turn, so I only had 6 cards in my hand. What are the odds that I could not counter out of a 7K attack with a 6-card hand? So again, played the bluff there. Some people might have just quit in that situation. Don't do it. You know, play it out and see if you can actually win. Good stuff there. Always keep your cool in a game. Okay, next up we got Boa Hancock. OP-07 Boa. Let me make sure it's on 2x speed. Okay, we're good to go. Man, this deck right here, Boa, is so frustrating to play against. It just has to be said. I respect everyone. You play whatever you want to, right? But blue decks are becoming so frustrating to play against because it's like, okay, all of my removal just bottom decks whatever you have. It gets around all my on KO effects or cannot be KO'd effects. And then I have to constantly counter out of cards in inefficient ways to play around cards like Pudding. And then eventually they're going to drop these big characters on us that just, you know, that just blow you out, and they're drawing cards the whole way. Whew, man. The decks are good, right? I'm not saying they're bad, but it is very, very annoying. So that was an instance there, guys, where I was faced with a decision. 1 second. Okay, right here, I have the decision where I can do a top 5 search with Momonosuke, or I could tap both my guys down right here to draw 2 cards. My opponent is going up to 5 Dawn next turn, so I don't know what they could play to get rid of one. But how do I say this? Even if I just use my Momonosuke effect, they can attack into that and get rid of it. So I would rather get the value out of both of these cards right away. Because remember, Momonosuke is only going to draw you 1 card. Even if you do a top 5 search, that doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but like that's not what's relevant at the end. You're only going to draw 1 card from the effect, and you could potentially whiff. So I choose right here, instead of using this card's effect, I use the 1 cost, you can be my Samurai, to tap both of them down. And look how it actually pays off quite a bit. Is this, sometimes I gotta click, there we go. Look what I draw, guys. I draw an Otama, so there's another searcher, and a Hody Jones. You can't draw Hody Jones with Momonosuke. Okay, so that was actually very nice, and that play ended up going very well. I swing 6 in a life. They give me the Doflamingo. He plays out a Jinbei to set his top 5 life cards with the Dofi he plays out, and then he's going to swing 6 into one of my guys into the correct target, the Momonosuke. So now it's my turn again. This game is just getting started, right? Because you can tell I'm still at 4 life, my opponent's still at 5 life, and we're just filling out the board and trying to figure out what to do here. I am literally begging my opponent to hit me with a Pudding in this situation. I'm just trying to get through cards in my deck and see what I can do from there. I play out my Hiyori to set my top life card as an Onami for next turn. I'm swinging 5. They're probably just going to give me a 1K. Actually, they just give me a blocker. We'll take that every time. And here we go. Like I said, guys, I'm literally just asking them to give me a Pudding here. Now, I probably could, like knowing, like I said, I knew they were going to Pudding. I should have just 2K'd out to save that guy, but then I lose all of those 2K counters, and then if they don't Pudding, they can capitalize on that, right? So it's like, it's one of those things where you can't even play around Pudding sometimes. You just have to accept it. The card is that good. The card is so good that you almost can't play around it, but you can in some situations. Everything is always situational, right? Okay, swing 7 into 5. This is probably going to go through, or they're going to give me 2 cards. It does go through. I'm going to use You Can Be My Samurai, Momonosuke, put this card on top, and your turn. That, like, notice, I just got hit by a pudding, and now my board is filled out. I gained a life in the process. I've drawn 2 cards from You Can Be My Samurai. I'm feeling okay, right? I'm feeling completely fine about this situation. They play out Jinbei into Gecko. That combo is absolutely disgusting when you start recycling your 3-cost Doflamingos or 2K counters, whatever you need. Swings 4 into 0. You can have that. Okay, swings 7 into 5. He has no more attacks for the turn, so I am going to just go ahead and counter out of that. Did I use my blocker there? What just happened? Did I miss something? Yeah, use my blocker to go to 6, and then 2K out to go to 8. Okay, so now back to my turn. Right here, I don't know what I want to do. I'm in the situation where I actually don't know what I want to do. So I do a top 5 search, grab a You Can Be My... It's always You Can Be My Samurai, guys. Like, that's almost always the correct choice. I put Shirahoshi on top of my life. Now I'm playing around something like another pudding, right? So play... Whew, okay, everything happened so quick there, guys. Y'all give me just a second. I put Shirahoshi in my life. You Can Be My Samurai to tap down my 2 small characters to draw 2 cards. Play out Momonosuke to put Hiyori back on life because it is the most important out of all of those targets. Number 1, I cannot put back the Momonosuke because they share the same name. But I can put back Otama or Hiyori. I'm going to put back Hiyori because I think she's more important. Okay, I'm letting this person have the pudding. Honestly, I think I should have attacked into the pudding looking backwards. Like, looking back at it, I should have swung into the pudding and then swung the rest in the face. Because they would have probably just let pudding go, and then I could swing the rest of the face. They gave me a blocker. Hits me with a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, getting rid of both of my Momonosuke's. Feels horrible, but I've prepared for this, right? I've used my cards accordingly to where I prepared for this. Okay, so right here, he's swinging for 6. I don't want to just give him anything here, you know, but I take the 2K counter. I think he swings for 5 or 7 right here. And I use the Shirahoshi trigger, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. Okay, just wait on my opponent to make their play. They're really deep in the tank here. Take it, Shirahoshi. I'm going to trash the other Shirahoshi and a Hiyori. I have 1 Hiyori, I just drew another one, and I have 1 Momonosuke in hand. I don't need any other ones. 5 into that, lock down all 3 of your cards. Your turn. Now, blue has answers. Blue has answers for anything, right? I mean, pretty much anything and everything. If you got a big hand, I'll just hit you with pudding. You got a big character, I'll red rocket. You've got 2 decent characters, I'll just Gravity Blade Raging Tiger it. It really has all these answers. It's crazy. I foresee blue doing very well in OP-07. I could be wrong. We'll see how things go in the West. You know, you never know, right? You just never know. But I think they're in pretty good shape. Okay, so right here, I just have to put that on top just to put something on top of my life. I play out, what did I get there? Oh, I played out the Hiyori to play out the Momonosuke. I guess I should have done that. Actually, I can't do that first and then put the Hiyori on top. So I had to do it in that order, but unfortunately, I was not able to cheat the Kikinojo into my life. Swing 5. Okay, I'm going to give my Hiyori because I only need 1. But I think, oh yeah, this guy has a lot of attacks, so I have to counter out of every single attack that I can. He swings 5. I take it, and that's the card that I already knew it was there. So right here in this situation, I am in full on, like, okay, we're in trouble. So I think I swing 5 here into one of his characters, give me a counter out of hand. He's got 7 cards in hand. And then I'm going to lock down his 3 best targets. I don't know why I locked down the leader. No reason to lock down. I should have just locked down 3 characters, 2 Geckos and a Jinbei or something. But now I'm forcing him to remove this card. He does. He does have the removal for it. Okay. And right here, he's going to swing 7. This is not looking good. He has 2 Dawn left, though. So I take that one, get a Hody Jones. That was huge. Take that one, didn't get anything. I have to give him a, 2K, or 0 cost 3K and a 2K to get out of the 9K. And now we're all in, right? Like, there is no more surviving here. So I swing 8 at face. He takes it. Play out Hody Jones. Use leader effect. Attach 2. Swing 10 at 5. You got it or you don't. Didn't have it. Okay. So that was a really good game. It came down to the very last attack. It came down to, like, missing the block by 2K counter. Very close game, but I will say this Boa deck is very strong, and they got a very good pool. They got a little bit bricked up at the end there, but at the same time, in that case, maybe it would have been smarter to play out your 9-cost Dracula Mihawk. Instead of playing out your Dracula Mihawk, maybe they should have found a turn to play out the draw 4 dragon or something like that. I don't know. But that was definitely a rough situation at the end there. Okay, last game. Here we go. We got against Purple Yellow Croc. I've been seeing a lot of these on the ladder as well, guys. A lot of Purple Yellow Crocs and a lot of Reijus. But yeah, let's see how this one goes. This is a situation where both of these decks benefited from like 2 cards. And think about it. Sometimes the only thing a deck needs, like this is just the early game, guys. I'm just ignoring this part. We're just building up our board real quick. If you have any comments or questions, please put them down in the comment section below. But sometimes all that an old leader needs is like 2 new cards and the whole deck is fixed. Like this deck got Okama Way, or Okama My Way, and it also got Miss Wednesday, the blocker. Yamato got Otama and Hiyori, the 4-cost Hiyori in my hand. Like, that was all the deck really needed to go into another direction and take it to another level, at least in my personal opinion. Because if you think about it, 8 cards out of 50, that's almost 10% of your deck, right? Or excuse me, if I could do math, that's like almost 20% of your deck, right? So that is relevant. Plays out the card I was just talking about in Miss Wednesday. This card is just great because it doesn't say on block. It says on opponent's attack, do her effect. So even if I rest her character down and try to attack into it, they're still going to get their effect off to ramp Dawn with their leader. So right here, I swing 9, does the Miss Wednesday effect, which returns a Dawn and sets it active, and then your leader effect will come in and give you another Dawn. So they're at 9 Dawn this turn, right? Let me see, 2, 4, or maybe 8. Well, now, excuse me, now they're at 9 Dawn after playing the Miss all Sunday. They're ramping to 10 as fast as they can. Swing 7 into me. I'm probably gonna. Okay, I do counter out because I have a lot of counter. Actually, I don't have that much counter in hand. I don't know why I didn't counter, or why I didn't just take that. But who knows? Sometimes, in the moment, I don't remember what I was doing, right? So swing 8. He's gonna Okama Way this, right? He's gonna Okama My Way for this. Yep, you have to in that situation, in my opinion, because if he had taken that, he goes down to 0 life. And I know they have ways to gain life, but not like that. So my opponent is on 10 Dawn when I just got done with my 7 Dawn turn. So I'll be on 9 Dawn next turn, and my opponent is already dropping 10-cost characters. Now, he chose to gain a life there. That's why I countered out aggressively and did not block with my Momonosuke. I had a feeling he was going to play out Ace, but I think he should have just played out Ace, not gained a life, and swung for 10. Okay. So, but I did swing there, and hang on. A lot of stuff just happened. My bad, guys. Hang on one second. So he went up to 3 life by playing out the Ace, right? So he took my 10k attack for my leader to draw 2 cards and go back down to 1, because 1's kind of a safe spot against Yamato. 2 is not, because your 1 attack is taking out 2 life. 1, for those who are not aware, quick little rules check for you guys. If your opponent is at 1 life card and you hit them with double attack, it does not end the game. It doesn't like hit them and then hit their face and you win. Your final attack, on no matter what character it is, does have to hit your opponent when they have no life cards remaining. So double attack does not get through like the final stack of life and then pop you in game over. Okay, so being at 1 life is kind of a safe spot against Yamato. So now back to the play here. I play out another Momonosuke on my turn, and on their turn they swing in for 5. And I think I missed something, guys. I'm sorry. Y'all give me just a second. So this turn right here, this is what it was. So watch this, guys. So he swings for 5. I had to go back about half a turn there, a whole turn and a half, guys. I did not block with my Momonosuke because I had a feeling he was going to play Ace. Now, right here, what I was saying is it probably would have made sense to just, swing in with Ace anyway, right? Because I'm probably going to take that, and then, we go from there. And then this turn, I swing at him for 10. He takes both attacks. He takes the attack and takes both life, but then he plays out another Ace. Now, check this out, guys. That's what I was saying. Otherwise, I just think things would have been different there. Play out Hiyori to play out the Momonosuke for 1 cheaper while drawing a card and going up to another life for the Otama. Right here, I block on purpose because I want to block with the Ace. Now, right here, he's going to play... Okay, excuse me. So he did not play out another Ace. That's where I got confused. Okay, so back to the game, guys. So Miss All Sunday is swinging is down on the table. He has a 5k and a 6k, but I'm going to lock down his board to the best of my ability. Attach 2 to my Momonosuke with my leader's effect, and I'm swinging 8 at life. Oh, come my way. A little bit of a blunder there. Guys. And this is what I was saying. It would have been nice to be more aggressive that 1 turn with Ace as opposed to what he did there and then gain a life. Because he has another way to gain a life in hand because he has so many cards. Because check this out. What he just tried to do there is a good play where you redirect 1 attack to your Kikinojo. But bad news. I have 5 life. So Kikinojo will not gain a life unless you're at 3, unless your opponent is at 3 or less life. So a little bit of a misplay there, or maybe an oversight. I don't know, because he should have just threw it as Miss All Sunday. Okay, 6 into 6. I'm running low on cards, but I do want to force him to... I want to keep that card, right? I want to keep the pressure on. So right here, I do have options. Do I try to go all in here? Does he have another Okama My Way? So right here, I swing for 11. This is probably going to force out an Okama My Way or an Okama Way, whatever you want to call it. He takes it. Okay. So right here, I don't have a lot of other plays, so I'm just going to swing with everything until I'm down to 4. So swing for 10. Let's see what he gives me. Uses O Come My Way on that character. Now I'm going to play out the Kikanojo. Or excuse me, no I don't. So right there I feel like I should have. Oh, was I trying to call a bluff here? I don't know what I was trying to do. Yeah, so I guess I was trying to call his bluff because hang on one second, guys. What I was saying is this is what I should have done. I should have played out the Kikanojo to get another body on the board, and then I would have put the remaining 2 Dawn on my character here to swing for 8. I still would have got 2 or 3 cards out of hand, and I have another character that's protected on the board for next turn unless he has removal. So that's what I was trying to say. So now he's going to swing 9 into 6. I'm like, sure, you can have it, because I would really... Oh, that's what it was. I wanted to protect my Dofi. That's why I kept the Kikanojo. Again, when I'm playing the game, I'm going through all these thoughts, you know, one at a time instead of trying to break down and analyze the game from the spectator view. You know, because when you're in the game, you're thinking very differently. Okay, right here, I top deck another Doflamingo. What I really want is a freaking Hody Jones. That's what I'm trying to get is a Hody Jones. So I swing 5 at him here. He gives me a 1K. I'm going to swing 10. And he was smart enough to not attack with his leader last turn. That was a very solid heads-up play there by my opponent. Okay, so swing 10. Let's see what he has. He can technically activate Oh Come My Way if he needs to with his leader's effect by using a Crocodile's effect on the board. But then he'd be, I think he, no, excuse me, I was going to say he'd go down to 9 Dawn next turn, but no, he'd be up to 10 actually because of the leader's effect if he activated just one of them. All right, so right here he's going to swing 12 into 10. I'm not letting him have that. It's like, nope, sorry. You're going to have to invest everything here, and now you won't get to gain life this turn. And I have 2 solid attacks here. He has 2 Dawn left. Plays out a Miss All Sunday, and here we go. I'm going to swing 11, and then everything else is going on my leader right here, right? It's like, no, let's see if you actually have a... he used both of his Crocodile's effects there. He gets out of that. No way. I'm like, you know what? If you got it, you got it. If you don't, you're done. And he did not have the third. I think it would have been the 3rd or 4th Oh Come My Way. So swing through for 14. GG. Good stuff there. Okay. Well, that's it for the games. Let's go ahead and go over the deck list now. So this is the list I was running. Move my head. Whoop. There we are. So this is the list that I was running. Like I said, I just copy-paste the deck we were looking at here. This one. I just copy-paste. But instead of the carrots, I was running the Kikanojos, and instead of this new 3-cost event coming out, I was just running Shirahoshi. Okay, so let me go back to it. And as you see, that's literally all it is right here. I love the new direction of this deck. I think it's very strong. Wano has some great cards. A card to think about would be the 9-cost Yamato. This is an option. The way that we're running the deck, though, we are trying to be slightly aggressive. And I feel like, I don't know, this card is good because you also can, I've mentioned this in other videos too, but you can combo with Momonosuke, right? So like in other words, if you play out this card, Yamato, to pop one of their guys and gain a life if you're at 1 or less life, later you can use Momonosuke to put it back on top of your life and get it next turn and do the same thing over if you need to. But honestly, there's just better targets. Like Hiyori's just simply a better target in my opinion, and so is the Otama. Because Otama and Hiyori are so good with the 1-cost event, whereas this You Can Be My Samurai. They're just so good. Other cards to consider that might help you out against Law, like say you're struggling against Law, which is, you know, that is a real possibility. Well, you could probably just take out these Kikanojos and go in for Ryumas, right? And then you could also probably take out, I don't know, maybe even take out these 2 Shirahoshis. They were pretty good, but you might be able to take out these 2 Shirahoshis for like 2 Eustace Kids. If you have an 8-cost Eustace Kid, you could try that out. But other than that, I mean, I feel like this deck has reached a point now where the core of the deck, like probably 85 to 90% of it, is like solid. These Hiyoris are so good with the Momonosuke, and then preferably something here you can cheat out with it, but you can cheat out Ryuma with it. So that might be a natural progression for the deck. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, especially going into OP-07 and OP-08. Izo is just so good. Momonosuke Searcher is good. I think this card's cracked. I think it's so good. Some people, I think the most I saw people run was 10 of the boss characters. So in other words, anything that was 7 cost and higher, like Hody Jones, Eustace Kid, Zoro, Doflamingo. I think 10 is the most I saw people run. So however you want to mix that, say you've got like, you know, it all depends on what collection of cards you have, right? So if you only have like 3 Doflamingos, 3 Hody Jones, 2 Eustace Kids, and 2 Zoros, okay, just run that package, right? Just run that. I don't see any problem with that. But other than that, the Otamas, once these drop in OP-07, these are staple. These You Can Be My Samurai, staple. The Hyoris, the Momonosuke's, and I guess this is kind of a flex spot, but at the same time, I don't know if I'd want to change this one out, because it does help into the red-purple law matchup, because you can set it there with Hiyori while gaining life with your Hiyori plus Momonosuke combo. Because I mean, think about that turn, guys. It's like there's like a, what is it, 7 Dawn turn where you can go Hiyori, set your top life card to an Onami, play out this Hiyori, draw a card, you know, draw 2 cards with You Can Be My Samurai by tapping the Hiyori and this Hiyori, playing out the Momonosuke afterwards to put Hiyori, the 2-cost Hiyori, back on life, and then drawing a card from that effect. I mean, it's just like, that's like this little 7 Dawn turn that's just disgusting. It's so strong, it's so high value, it's so good. But yeah, as far as matchups go, I did just recently come out with a video on that, guys. I don't remember the exact. I think I called it the best decks in OP-07. So if you want to know like you know, a leader by leader breakdown, you can check that out there and see what the East is saying about Yamato from their own experience, and understand. Like I said, I'm using a list from the East. Like, this is kind of what they're running over there currently. It's like I said, it's this modified version. It's a really interesting modified version of Land of Wano Fortress. It's like the Land of Wano Fortress build or something. But yeah, it seems really strong, guys. It seems really solid. If I were to make any revisions to this current list we're looking at right now, I would probably drop the Hiyori, excuse me, the Shirahoshis here for, honestly, I might go up another boss character, maybe take 2 of them, actually. Maybe take out both Hiyoris and put in 2 Eustace Kids. Just something to fill out the, you know, the final version of the deck. And then maybe even take out these Kikanojos for the Ryuma. That's what I'll say, like, right away. Like, let me click on this so that it, oops, I gotta get rid of these first. The reason I like that right away is because of Otama. Where's the card? This card. Remember, guys, this can only search up green Land of Wano character, or excuse me, Land of Wano cards. So it can search up like the event, but it can only search up green Land of Wano cards. Whereas, you know, Momonosuke, yeah, he can search up either. Well, guess it doesn't matter if it's a green Land of Wano card, right? Anything that is a green Land of Wano card, you're good with. You're going to be good with this. And I do think this is a flex spot, but it is a flex spot that is built around this 4-cost Hiyori card. So if you don't want to run Ryuma, or if you don't want to run Kikanojo, I can't even talk right now, there are some other options. There's this old school Yamato. This is searchable by both, and it can pop something, you know, or it can rest something that's a 6 or less to help you punch through for lethal later in the game. There's also, where is that boar that everybody's running? There it is. This Yamasan card. This is an option. This, you know, it's just a 5-cost 7K. The nice thing about this card is it is searchable, and it's a 1K counter, and it's a 5-cost card to cheat out with Hiyori. Okay. Now, Yamato is not, or excuse me, Denjiro is not really the best option, because it says if your leader is Kazuki Oden, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. And it's weird they didn't have this. Like, you see how this right here, this 4-cost Yamato here, it says this card's name is also treated as Kazuki Oden. I'm surprised they didn't do that for this leader too, because that would have been really nice. Then we would have had a very, very strong 5-cost 7K to include in the deck in Denjiro, because he could set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. So now, you know, you're setting, you know, you're getting 2 extra Dawn from his effect, you're getting 2 extra Dawn from this effect. It could have been something really special, but unfortunately that's just not an option. Another card is, of course, this Yamato. And look, this card's name is also treated as Kazuki Oden, but Denjiro requires your leader to be Kazuki Oden. So, oh well, it is what it is. Not a big deal. But that's really the main cards I would look at, is like this card, like I said, in Yamato. And if you do try, I think I mentioned this when we were going over it, if you do decide you want to go with Eustace Kid, then there becomes a, like, let me just get rid of these Shirahoshis for now and put in Eustace Kid. Then there becomes an option, like instead of this Onami, or maybe instead drop down to 3 Onamis, drop down to 3 Ryumas, or whatever you choose for this card to be, and then you can go up 2 of the Rosinantes for a little extra protection here and there. It's an option. It's an option. But there's also, actually, there were also some blockers from Wano, weren't there? I think there was, I think it was a Cat Viper card. Yeah, this card. This would be a pretty decent card. It's a 3-cost 4K, Land of Wano searchable, 3-cost 4K blocker, so you can drop that with this character's effect. Now, it is not as good as Rosinante. Just understand me right away, right? Do not misunderstand me. I mean, it is not as good, in my opinion, as Rosinante, but it's still very good wherever it went. Just type in cat. There it is. This card right here. So it's not bad. It is an option. And then later on, I mean, say you don't block with it. Say you just let him take out your useless kid. Well, you still have a 3-cost 4K that you can put 1 Dawn on and a swing with. So good stuff there. That's about it, guys. So just to look at some cards from OP-08, there is a card coming out called Carrot. This is the card that was featured in the list that I was showing that I'll have linked down in the comment section below if you want to watch that game. This is a 5-cost, 6,000 power character. It is not Land of Wano searchable, but that's okay. Listen to what it does. 5-cost, 6K counter, or 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter. On play and when attacking, up to one of your opponent's rested cost 7 or less characters do not become active during its owner's refresh phase. So it's like you play this card down, and as long as you're swinging with it, that card that it's locking down that costs 7 or less, it's not coming untapped, right? It's not refreshing during the refresh phase. So this card is very good, even though it's not in whatchamacallit, in OP-07, it's in OP-08. Now, a card that you can use in the place of it for the time being, if you're trying to just totally copy-paste the deck that we looked at from OP-08, or, you know, from the testing from OP-08, this is kind of a one-for-one card of what the Carrot card is, but it's not quite as strong. Because this one says that, listen to what this one is. This is Jory Bonnie from OP-07. 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter. Same thing as Carrot. But listen to this. On play, up to one of your opponent's rested characters or Dawn do not become active during the next refresh phase. There's no cost restriction on that effect, but it's only for your one-time on play. So it has its pros and cons, right? It has like something that's better than the Carrot, but something that's worse as well. They're pretty well balanced. But I will say I think the Carrot is just slightly better, right? It's just a little bit better. What else? Oh, for the event, this is the event that they were running. This event is definitely worth running whenever we get a hold of it, and you can see why they're running Carrot with this card. It's a 3-cost main event. All of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 7 or less do not become active during your opponent's next refresh phase. And then trigger, you can rest up to one of your opponent's characters, no cost restriction. Guys, this is a lockdown effect, just like Doflamingo, and in that kind of deck, like, let me see if I can bring it up again one more time. They're running the 10 Dofis because if they can keep you locked down, like early on with your, with these bunnies, these Carrots, and then once they start, having to swing all out to get full value and they're all tapped down, okay, well, we'll just hit them with this 3-cost event. It's down here at the bottom right. My head's in the way, guys. Sorry, let me move my head. Down here in the bottom right corner, there's these events, and you could just lock them down another turn and then drop your Doflamingos on them, right? So a lot of synergy there. Really good stuff. Okay, well, that is about it, guys. Please do not forget to check out these 2 videos. I'm going to link down in the comment section below. This one was interesting, seeing where Japan is on, like, again, it was just a 500-person survey, so please, don't freak out about it. It's nothing too crazy. But it is kind of interesting, and it was nice finding that guy Tamaharu Saito's YouTube page, because I used to watch him back in way back in Magic the Gathering, and he had a special shuffle that he was known for. I don't know if he created it or not, but he would do this shuffle where he would like lay the cards out in rows of 5 at a time, and it inspired me to want to learn that, and I did years ago, like 10-15 years ago. I learned how to shuffle like that, and I have a tutorial on this. On my YouTube showing how to do that, and I'll link that in the comment section below as well. I'll call it the Tamaharu Saito, how to shuffle like Tamaharu Saito. Good stuff. All right, well, that's it, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Let me go ahead and put up the Patreon page real quick before I forget. Big shout out to all my patrons who help me in that way. Thank you to everyone who likes these videos, who shares them, comments, just watches them, all that stuff, guys. So yeah, please do not forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. Hope y'all enjoyed, and if I missed anything, as usual, guys, please help me out down in the comment section below. All right, that's it, guys. Till next time. Peace.